How's it going, guys? Chris from Terrestrial Imaging here. And as you can see, we're doing something a little bit different than we normally do. So we typically make drone videos on the channel, but today we're in front of our Vans RV-14 aircraft that we've built ourselves from scratch starting in 2019 and finishing in 2022. Since then, we've been having a blast flying it all over the country. But one thing we did notice is that there really weren't many great rudder lock systems. So we took it upon ourselves to develop our own rudder lock system for the Vans RV-14 aircraft. So for the remainder of this video, we're going to give you guys a breakdown on the rudder lock system, so that way you know how to install this system for yourself. So we decided to build our own rudder locking system because, as you can see, the tail on the Vans RV-14 is quite large compared to the aircraft size. And when the aircraft is on the ground, the rudder can move freely, and if it's variably gusting or the winds are high, it can slam the rudder in either direction, causing damage, and we definitely don't want that to happen. Other rudder locking systems on the market hold the rudder in a rigid and locked position, applying excess force to the rudder. But our system that we've developed is tension loaded, and by applying force, it will compress, allowing the rudder to move ever so slightly left and right to deflect the excess forces that are being applied to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go inside of the aircraft and we're going to show you guys just how easy it is to install the DroMight Rudder lock system for the Vans RV-14. So before we go inside, we're going to start with a brand new DroMight Rudder lock system. We're going to go ahead and open the box. And inside of the box, we have one rudder lock, we have a second rudder lock, and we have two mounting tabs. Each mounting tab will have 4 screws. And then we have our instruction pages. So now that we have our new rudder lock system, we're going to go into the aircraft and show you guys exactly how to install it. So while we're inside the aircraft, our goal is to install both of the mounting plates for the DroMight Rudder lock system. As you can see, one of them is longer and one of them is going to be a bit shorter and does have a rounded edge, which is going to be important later as we actually go ahead and install it. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our instruction sheet and we are going to go to step 1. And as you'll see, we're going to be removing 8 screws that can be found on the control column cover. And they're going to be down here below on the left side of the aircraft. We're going to show you guys a picture of what that looks like. Once those 8 screws are removed, we can then go ahead and install the mounting plates. All right, so now that we have our mounting screws removed, I went ahead and took my new mounting screws and I put them in a little plastic box so that way I don't lose them as I'm installing the mounting plates. And we're going to start by now going to step 2 in the instructions. And in step 2, it's telling us to grab the smaller mounting plate. And again, we have to pay attention to the rounded edge. We're going to take that smaller mounting plate with the rounded edge facing down on the bottom right side. We're going to place it down, line it up with the screw holes, and we're going to use the new screws that we got with our system. Keep in mind, we're not going to be using the older screws that we removed. We're going to be using the newer screws as they're slightly longer to fill the gap that's going to be left by the mounting plate. So with our mounting plate in the right spot, make sure with all 4 screws there's no resistance and you're able to screw these in no problem. If you feel something isn't going incorrect, don't fight it, back out and try again. So with our last screw nice and secure, we can go ahead now and move to our left mounting plate. So moving on to the left mounting plate, we're going to move on to step 3 in the instructions. And we're going to pay attention here and notice that the empty space on the mounting bracket is going to favor the outside wall of the aircraft. So as we go to install it, we're actually going to be taking that outside wall and it's going to be facing to my left towards the outside of the aircraft. So I'm going to go ahead now, take this plate, line it up with the holes, and install the screws. So now that I'm tightening up the last screw here on our left mounting plate, Just going to be mindful and call out that, as you can see, our column cover over here does not have any carpeting on it. So for those of you who do have carpeting on your column cover, you will have to cut out a square for each of these mounting plates to ensure that the mounting plate is flush to the column cover. We want to make sure we have no excess space between the mounting plate and the column cover at all. So no work should ever be done on an aircraft without checking your work upon completion. So that's all step 4 is checking your work and making sure that both plates are installed in the proper orientation and that there's no gap between the mounting plates and the cover column. Once done, we no longer need the instruction manual. We can put that to the side, and now we're going to show you how to actually install the rudder locks. All right, so now that both the left and right mounting plate are permanently secured to the aircraft column, what we're going to do now is take one of our rudder locks, and we have to make sure that the remove before flight sticker is going to be facing up. And we're going to take the front of our rudder lock, and we are going to put it on the left pedal on the left side, and we're going to line it up on the pedal and drop it into the left mounting plate. Once that's done, we're going to take our other lock and we are going to put it on the right pedal, again on the left side of the aircraft. We're going to apply some force between the pedal and the mounting plate, and it should drop right in. Once dropped in, you're completely done and your rudder locks are fully installed. So we're going to show you guys from a different angle what it looks like so you can see down by the pedals, so stay tuned. All right, so here's just another close-up shot so you guys can see what it's like to put the rudder pedals on. I currently have my feet on the right side of the airplane using the right pedals, so I'm just going to line up both pedals. I'm going to take one of the rudder locks and applying some pressure on the right side of the aircraft pedals. You'll see that the rudder lock is now locked in. I'm going to take the second rudder lock and line it up with the left pedal and apply some force now, pushing it in, and it will snap right into place on the mounting plate. Now you'll see I'm going to push on the pedals on the right side of the aircraft, and you'll see the springs giving and releasing, allowing that rudder to move slightly left and right without being completely stuck in place with that excess force. Taking the rudder locks off is even easier than putting them on. You're going to just pick the left or the right one, doesn't really matter, and just apply some force pushing in towards the pedal, and your rudder lock will come off. The second rudder lock now should be super easy to pop off, and now once both are done, you've successfully installed and uninstalled the DroMight rudder locks for the Vans RV-14. So for those of you who want to update your weight and balance for your aircraft, keep in mind with the DroMight rudder lock system, you're going to get 2 rudder locks which are completely removable, but you will have 2 plates and 8 screws which will be permanently fixed to your aircraft. So if I take these permanent parts of the rudder lock system and weigh those, they're going to be weighing in at around 6.5 and change ounces. Keep in mind these are in plastic bags, so it will be slightly less heavy, but as you can see, again, it's going to be around 6.5 ounces. So with the rudder locks fully installed, we just wanted to show you guys what it looks like to put some force on the rudder itself with those locks in place. So as you can see, the rudder is perfectly in position right now and fixed, but if I push on the rudder and release, you'll see that it springs right back into its locking position. So the tension from those rudder locks allows the rudder to move and deflect some of the force being applied to it, and when that force gives, it goes right back to its resting position. So if you guys like the DroMight rudder lock and have any questions, feel free to leave them below, or we'll drop a link down in the description so that way you guys can get a pair of rudder locks for yourself. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.